everybody. Welcome back to another video. This is a video I've wanted to do for a very long time, but I was never really sure how I would go about doing it. But I finally figured it out. And here is my ancestry. This is my 23andMe DNA test results. I did this probably 5 or more years ago at this point. But as you can see, this was most recently updated January 15th, 2023, so they're always keeping this up to date. As you can see here, there I am, there's Daft, it's 100% me. And I am 99.1% European. Of that 99.1%, all of that is Northwestern European. All of it. And then that 99.1% is broken down into 3 categories, the largest of which is this British and Irish. So, this area on the map over here, right there. And it says the most, well, we'll get into that later. See, there's some new, I noticed today there was some new data about this group in particular. And then I am 31.4% Scandinavian, so coming from these countries up here. And then 3.2% broadly Northwestern European. They aren't too sure where precisely that DNA is coming from, but it's somewhere in this general region. Then I have 0.6% Indigenous Americans. This would be Native American heritage, which I believe my grandmother is 1/16th Sioux Indian, which that means my father is 1/32nd, which means I would be 1/64th or so, so this definitely makes sense for me to not have very much Native American ancestry, and then 0.3% trace ancestry. So this is just the overview. You can see this is where the Europeans coming from. This is the Indigenous American. Now we'll go paper by paper here. So we take the paper off, and here we get the 64.5% of meat that is British and Irish. As you can see, you see the map here, the regions designated on there. And now this is the side of my family, the side of my ancestry that I am not as familiar with. I believe that most of this is coming on my mother's side, because on my mother's side, we've traced back to Scotland. So I know at least that I had some ancestors in Scotland, but I don't know anything beyond that. So it says a high likely match in England, a high likely match in northern Munster, which I believe is part of Ireland, a high likely match in Yorkshire, Humberside, and the East Midlands, a likely match in Central and Northern Ireland, a likely match in Central and Southern Ireland, a likely match in Cumbria, a likely match in Ireland, and then this one is part of the new information, a likely match in Northern England and Southern Scotland. And the Scottish bit, like I said, doing some of my genealogy, I did find birth and death records for ancestors on my mother's side coming from Scotland. But beyond that, I don't know too much about this side of my ancestry. Although it obviously is the largest border Ocean, making up more than half of my genetic material. So definitely over the next little while here, I need to dig more into this side of my family and heritage, and become a little bit more familiar with it. But I'm pretty sure that we have some ancestors in Dublin. I don't know why I think that, but I could have sworn I remember a grandparent or something talking about Dublin. But like I said, I do know for sure that there is some Scottish in there. Now we get to the part of my ancestry I'm more familiar with, the 31.4% Scandinavian. This is the part that I do identify more with. Seems we have a high likely match in Norway and a possible match in Sweden. But I know for a fact that my family comes out of Norway, not Sweden, and you can see the shaded areas. The darker it is, the more likely they believe it is. And here's a bit more of a breakdown. Norway, the highly likely match. Norway has 19 administrative regions. You share DNA with 23andMe participants who most frequently report their ancestors were from the following 10 regions: Oslo, Buskerud, Akershus, Moral Kromsdal, Uppland, Rogaland, Hordaland, Hedmark, Sogndfjorden, Sør-Trøndelag. But I've done the research. I've looked at this side of my family quite extensively. This is the side that I get from my father. And I've seen the birth and death records, the marriage certificates. I've seen I actually, funnily enough, while we were in Calgary, Canada, I found, like records of the boats that were coming in and out of the United States from various countries, and I actually found the immigration records of my great-grandfather who came over to the United States from Norway. He settled in North Dakota and parts of Canada up in Saskatchewan. And my family is from right here, Skien, Norway. It's a little fishing village, I believe. There's not very much going on there. Every so often I try and look up videos of Skien, Norway to see the local goings on, so if there's anything going on, like new stuff around the town. There's never too much, although recently it does look like there's been some new construction and maybe some more money brought into the area, so that's really nice. There's some nice waterways and some little upgrades looks like they've done. There's a soccer club here in Skien that I very, very, very casually follow. Their name is Odds BK, which stands for Ball Club. Although sometimes they just go by Odd BK or just Odd. They play in Skien, and you can actually watch all of their matches for free through various apps and whatever, so I'll sometimes watch them to try and like connect to that part of my ancestry. But yeah, that is where my family comes from on my father's side, right there, Norway. So I always thought that was really cool. It's actually a dream of mine to go visit there someday, and if I can get a better understanding of where my mother's side of the family originates from, I want to go do the same there, see if I have some sort of divine revelation or something like that while I'm there, see if I feel some sort of connection to my past, my roots. This is the 0.6% of my DNA that's indigenous American. There's really not too much to claim here. ancestors could be from anywhere up here in Alaska, Canada, some of these northern bits here. Looks like even Greenland, Mexico, South America, down from Chile all the way up to, Panama, Mexico. So, not super helpful, but like I said, I believe Sioux Indian is the tribe that my family had some contact with in the past. My grandma, like I said, I believe she's 1/16th Sioux. I believe, because that's the part of my family on my dad's side that's from the Dakotas and the Saskatchewan area, and I think that is where the Sioux Indian tribe was located. But again, I'm not really an expert on Native American stuff. My grandma is. She loves Native American stuff. Growing up, going to her house, she had Native American artwork books, relics, like she had a tomahawk, she had peace pipes, all this stuff that was like antique artifacts from Native American tribe. Like it's a big part of my grandma's identity, but I never personally connected with it too much. Finally, this is the trace DNA I have, and that's 0.3% Central Asian, which it's showing is this region here, Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan. But looking at this, part of me wonders if this is just like the Genghis Khan DNA that like all of us have a little bit of, right? Maybe something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but a very small portion of my DNA, as you can see here, maybe way back up my family line, like way up here at the top of my family line, we have some ancestor that hailed from this region of the world, but part of me does feel like this is just the Genghis Khan thing that like everybody has a little bit of. But I haven't looked too heavily into this because, like as you see, there's very little information to glean here. It's only 0.3%, so it's very statistically insignificant. And I'm not sure I could ever trace down where this DNA was coming from, even if I followed my genealogy as far back as I could, because of course, like, record keeping and things like that were not that great up until the past couple hundred years or so, so probably kind of a dead end here, just a forever mystery. But yeah, guys, so that is me. That is the story of Daft Rain Cloud and my heritage. Very European, almost 100% European, 99.1%, 64.5% British and Irish, 31.5% Scandinavian, 0.6% Indigenous American, and 0.3% trace ancestry. But all of this makes 100% me, 100% me. So thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed the video. I'm sorry this one is a little bit shorter than usual. If you did like it, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this almost every single day. Till next time, guys. Bye bye.